Lesson learned from being an amateur podcast host. Welcome back to another episode of Chatting with Slava the Jordanian. I'm your host, STJ. Today I thought I would go through the process of how to respond to the criticism that you might get as a newcomer, as myself, to the podcast world or even the podcast space. And the reason that I wanted to do an episode about this is because some of you know that I just completed our Season 1, 2025, and we started Season 2 in 2026. And everything was great, and everything is great, and we're very, very excited about Season 2. And I tape, because of my work schedule, my travel schedule, I tape we launch in January and we end like September, October, because my travel season starts. So that's number one. Number two, I limit it to about 35 episodes. I don't keep going on and on and on. Now, whether I'm right or wrong, that is beyond my knowledge right now. I don't know if this is the thing to do as a podcast host. I'm going to find out from the feedback I get. Now, I am one of the type of people that I do welcome constructive criticism, advice, analysis, but I would like it to be supported by data, not by just feeling or because of spite kind of thing. Now, my generation, Gen X, is living through this era or this life or culture of social media and mob judgment. And if somebody does not like what you say, doesn't like what you look like, doesn't like how you carry yourself, or whatever the style of production that you are producing does not match their idea of production, then they will criticize it, which is fine. That's how we learn. We stumble, we fall, we make mistakes, we pick ourselves up. That's how I grew up. And then we move forward and we move on. We learn from our mistakes as long as we don't master our mistakes, and we move on. We fix what we need to be we fix whatever it needs to be fixed, and then we move on. We never give up. Quitting is not an option. Giving up is not an option. And doubt is not an option. That's just my generation. Plus, it is the culture that I grew up in. That's how my parents raised me. So it became part of my belief system with modification. Obviously, through the years, I modified that belief system to match whatever I'm going through in life and in order to serve me better. That belief system to serve me better, I had to drop whatever doesn't work and then continue using whatever it works. And I hope that makes sense. And the reason behind this ranty kind of episode, it's because when you get criticized about how you're doing things, not knowing that, give me some grace period, let me do it as much as I have learned how to do it. And then you have the right to criticize me. Give me about 5 seasons and then criticize me. And if it is constructive criticism, I welcome it 100%. And I will learn from it and I will analyze it. Especially if it's data-based, that is absolutely beautiful. That's how I roll. I am very much task-oriented, result-oriented by data. So let's learn together. If you are thinking of becoming a host of your own podcast, no matter what the topic is or what kind of platform it is, but if you're thinking about using the Mindset Master Moments, it's amazing, amazing service, amazing team, amazing production team, and amazing support. And they will definitely advocate for you. So I wrote some things down. Again, I was criticized in the past because I'm reading things. But how am I supposed to introduce to you data and the nature of the topic if I don't support my opinion or the reason that I am addressing certain topics because of what I have read? So it's all about opinions, all about expressing yourself. And that's what I thought the podcast is for. When you are telling your story and you have an opinion about a story, you always support the story with data. And then you move on from that, or you build upon that as you wish. So I wrote things down so I can actually conduct this without going on and on and on and on. As my husband says all the time, you have a lot to say about a lot. Okay. So we need to remember this, and these are some of the things that I learned as I went through the process of, even before I attempted to launch a podcast, I had to do so much research to rehearse, to practice that kind of mindset that I'm going to be a podcast host. What does that mean? I had no idea. I talk all day and every day to my team and to my patients. When I come home, I don't talk. I'm very much introverted. I'm very much task-oriented. And I just do my thing. My home is my safe space. And I get so quiet. I shut this whole system down in order to reboot and in order to just rejuvenate, because I'm into taking it to the point that if you are not, and if you don't, that's another episode. So one of the things that I learned researching this is separate criticism from relevant and ask yourself, is this feedback about the content, or is it about the person not being included, or is it constructive or emotional? All right. So is this feedback about content? So I never got the criticism about feedback about the content. It wasn't a feedback about the context so far. So everybody that's been on our podcast, they just gave me a lot of feedback, special guests, about the format. How is it very comfortable, very casual, not very stiff, kind of interview format, which is fine. So we continue. We took that and we adopted that format, and we just apply it on every single episode. Or is it about the person not being included? So what happened was a social media coach out of California. I have no idea. She must be watching me somehow. So a social media / podcast coach made a comment to somebody that I know criticizing our podcast and saying that it's not worth anybody going on because, number one, I'm not looking at the camera. I'm not actually talking to the camera. So obviously that person doesn't know me and doesn't know this. I don't have a studio. This is my space, and I literally do it in my home. And I set up this very humble amateur studio with the tools that I really need: the lights, the microphone, the computer, my phone. I tape on my phone. My phone is sitting right there, and I tape on it. That's number one. Number two, it's a lot of light. My eyes are very, very sensitive to the light after 27 years of dentistry. So I cannot look at the light because the camera is attached to the light. And I am prone to eye infections. Last year, I had 4 eye infections. One of them was double eye infection. So I'm sorry if I don't look at the light or I don't look at the camera, because I can't afford an eye infection because I'm still practicing dentistry. And this is something fun that I do as far as the podcast. And I don't want not be able to do what I enjoy. Number 2, I wear glasses. I can't see and I can't read without glasses. So if constantly looking at the light, you guys are going to see a reflection. And that's very distracting, according to my research. Number 3, the reason why I am in an angle, because I love to set it up as if I am talking to somebody or I'm talking to an audience in front of me. It makes it less robotic and more like animated. And that's why I look away, the light, the glasses, the reflection. And as a host, I am watching the screen as the guests are expressing themselves, or, as I am expressing myself, what they're saying, if they're getting nervous, so I can read their facial expression and their body language. And I would modify the questions, or I will change the topic accordingly. So when you are saying that you're not even looking at the camera, why is that so important? Number 1, the podcast is on Spotify and Apple. They're both audio. Most of the people that I know that listen to our podcast, they listen to it while they're cooking, while they're driving, while they're doing laundry, cleaning the house. People are not sitting on their desk, right? Or they're sitting on their couch listening to the podcast for a whole hour. So that it's mostly audio. We are doing it video because we have the Greenwood Dental Partner YouTube channel already. And we thought we will put in as video so people can recognize our faces, laugh at it if we're saying something with a facial expression, just to be more relatable and connect to the audience. So I'm not trying to justify myself. I'm not trying to make excuses. But what bugs me about this is you don't know me for you to criticize me. And also, I was compared to people that are so famous on the podcast platforms, I'm not mentioning their names, that own studios. They are supported and they're sponsored and financed by millionaires and billionaires, which I am not. I am simply an independent platform sponsored by humanity and supported by everyday people's stories. That's it. I'm doing it because I have been encouraged by everybody around me that know me and knew me for years and years and years on end, and said, Dr. Slava, you gotta do a podcast. You have so many amazing stories and you know how to talk to people. So, and I love storytelling. I learned that skill from my mom, from my paternal grandmother. Unfortunately, I never met my maternal grandmother. She passed away at age 37 by kidney failure. She literally did not make it to the hospital. So, and I met my maternal grandfather once. I don't remember. I was 2 years old. I think I have there is only one picture, black and white picture, that's circulating somewhere amongst my family, amongst my siblings. I don't have. It was me and my eldest brother, my Irish twin, together with him. And I literally don't know how he looks like. But storytelling is part of our culture. Storytelling is part of our heritage. Storytelling is how we Arabs use it as an excuse to get together and sip tea and drink coffee and bring the dessert out and sit around and just connect and reconnect. So that is the nature of this podcast. So I agree. Is this feedback about the content? No, it wasn't. Or is it about the person not being included? I don't know that person. That person never approached me. That person never asked me to be on the podcast. I never met this person before. I don't remember saying no to anybody. So far, everybody that signed on to come on this podcast had come on the podcast are everybody that whether approached me or I approached them. So we have an amazing community. Is it constructive or emotional? I have no idea. As I said, I don't know this person. I have no interest in reaching out to the person because I don't care about that person's opinion because that person means nothing to me. That person is not part of my life. I don't even know. The name was mentioned. I don't even know who they are. I am on social media. I'm on Instagram. I have 2 accounts. I don't think I follow her or him or it. You never know these days if it's a male, female, or just AI. Who knows? Maybe they did not like the content or one of the topics. I don't know. Very often public criticism for someone not involved is about visibility and access, not quality. That's really, really interesting. So maybe that person wants to come on, but not sure about approaching me to come on, maybe. And by criticizing me, they are convincing themselves that the podcast is not worth coming on. And you know, the amazing thing is, or the thing is, it's only been 1 season. I have no idea. I have no idea. But anyways, I love the way I look at life. I love to take any triggering event and learn from it and use it as a lesson to learn from, to improve myself, to grow, and to elevate my skills as a communicator. But that's just me. Understand the deeper dynamic. That's really, really, really interesting. Listen to this. Public criticism can come from ego injury. Why wasn't I included? We just talked about fear. They are growing and I'm not. Value misalignment. Projection of their own insecurities. That is interesting. That is correct because all the above I learned about through dentistry. Give you a big example. When the patient comes in and they had only 1 visit with us, and all of a sudden they write us a really bad review, and I go around, I take that review, trying to validate it and check it and recheck it. And from the data I collect, proves that none of what was written in the review actually happened. It's just a fabrication of their imagination. So, Then I sit down and I found out, is it ego? Is it fear? Is it value or belief system misalignment? Or is it projection of their own securities? So something must have happened or something must have been said to that patient that triggered insecurity or triggered certain trauma or triggered anxiety or triggered some kind of embarrassment. And one of the mechanisms that the human always do is goes and attacks before they get attacked. I'm not okay, you're not okay kind of thing. So that person that criticized us, the fact that we are reading when we are taping, because shame on us, we're trying to support and back our opinions with data for the sake of becoming as authentic as possible and as accurate as possible, because we don't want to misinform anybody. Now, if we are expressing our own opinions, it's just a story. You can't control stories. Things are going to happen. But if we are talking about a concept or about a phenomena or about a syndrome, you have to back it up with data, or a historical event. You have to back it up by data. It's not he said, she said, I think. Now, if you say that this is what I was told, or according to my understanding about that's your opinion. That's fine. We welcome that, right? But what's wrong about everybody reads. Newscasters read. I don't get that part. It's just in my book, that's such a lame excuse to say that, oh, your podcast is not good enough. Let's continue, shall we? The next point is decide, is this feedback useful? So when I got that feedback, I won't lie to you, I shut down, because the first emotion, and just like my spiritual coach always says, you have to name the emotions to feel them, and you have to feel them to heal them. Okay, so the first emotion, I'm going to name it, the first emotion that I felt is, oh, it's not fair. This is not fair. That's the first emotion. The second emotion was anger. The third emotion was confusion. The fourth emotion was sad. But did it stop me from continuing? Absolutely not. Did it stop me from sharing it with the people that I trust, my circle of trust, and to review such feedback and figure out how do we feel about this and how we want to continue moving forward? Absolutely. Now, criticizing somebody because whatever they're doing publicly or privately, it's going to happen. It's a human nature. The reason why I want to publish this episode, because I want you guys to find out what happens behind the scenes. It's not all rainbows and flowers and the grass is greener on the other side. It's not true. Things are going to happen. It is a lot of work, number one. Number two, it is a lot of dedication. It is a lot of discipline, but it's so much fun. So if you get criticized, do not give up. Giving up is not an option. Doubt is not an option. Quitting is not an option. So remember those three things. And that's why I'm doing this episode, because if any of you guys listening or watching are interested in becoming a podcast host and you believe that this podcast is what you are made to do or meant to do, go for it. Just go for it. Plunge right in. Okay. So decide if this feedback is useful. There are only 3 categories. Listen to this: useful feedback, misunderstanding, emotional reaction disguised as critic. Never defend from emotion. Okay. So misunderstanding, useful feedback. Is it useful? Take it, improve it, thank them privately if appropriate. First of all, I couldn't do that because it was not directly, it came from one person to another person and then it reached out to me. I'm sorry. If you're brave enough, say it in my face. Don't just throw a statement about somebody that I'm an amateur podcast host. I don't know if 5 years from now I'm going to be still doing that. Doing this. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but I'm doing it. It's all about what if. What if it works? What if this impacts enough people that might end up doing their own podcasts? Can you imagine? It's almost like a chain reaction. If that's the case, and one day somebody's going to say, chatting with Slava the Jordanian was my inspiration, I'm good. So useful feedback, take it, improve, thank them, which is I didn't have the opportunity to thank them. Misunderstanding, clarify once and calmly. Okay. I did. That person that said these things to me, I'm the messenger. I try to verify it, but I was not satisfied with that verification. I was not satisfied with the explanation because it wasn't fair for that person. That person themselves did not even know what they were talking about. Basically, don't shoot the messenger. I'm just a messenger. That's what I heard. I care enough. I'm going to let you know. Okay, fine. Thank you very much. Moving on. Emotional reaction disguised as critique. Do not engage emotionally. Silence is often the most powerful response. So, this is what I did. I listened. I asked the question, did not get an answer or an explanation or data supported facts. Okay. I did not get emotional. I stayed calm. And then I never talked about it again, ever again, except for on this episode. Seriously. Did I keep it in mind? Absolutely. I kept it in mind and I kept checking and rechecking myself. Maybe this is better. Maybe that is better. Maybe we should change things. And then I tried to change things. It did not work. So I went back to the original plan, original style of doing it because it works. So do what works for you. Do not get stuck and hold on to a certain way that does not serve you well. And I learned that from my life coach, Dana, who's going to come on this show very, very soon. And I can't wait for that episode. Never defend from emotion. Absolutely. When something feels unfair, the instinct is to defend. Deep, I'm telling you right now, inside of me, I had my gloves on and I was going to go for the punch, right? But there was a voice inside of me says, Slava, just calm down, take it as it is, end this conversation, right? And then process it, analyze it your way, and then figure out what you want to do and make the decision. At the end of the day, ultimately, it's your decision. Because thank God I have so much support. My community is unbelievable. They have been so supportive. They advocate for me and for us, including the Mindset Mastery Moment production team. They have been unbelievable. So instead, respond with gratitude and clarity, or don't respond at all, or respond with, I appreciate your perspective. Nothing more. You don't need to justify your creative decisions. It's your platform. And I swear to you, when I discussed this with Dana, my life coach, and I told her, hey, this happened, and I'm not sure what to think about it. I'm not sure what to feel about it. This is exactly what she said. She said to me, don't need to justify your creative decisions. It's your platform, Slava. And when she said that to me, I said to myself, I was like, oh my God, she's right. she's 100% right. She's absolutely right. This is my platform. And if anybody would have gave me constructive criticism, would be the Mindset Mastery Moment producing team. Do this and do that. But so far, after the first 5 episodes, when we launched the first 5 episodes, because you're testing the water, then you sit down with that team and you said, okay, how did it go? Great. Keep going, keep going, keep going. And that's your platform. So our category on Spotify and Apple is self-improvement. So every topic that we discuss and we talk about is about self-improvement to elevate everybody's skills about life, for life, and in life. Because if you are creating something, if you're an artist and you have a certain style of creativity, oil color painting, watercolor painting, ceramics, stone carving, marble carving, metal, right? Jewelry, fashion, clothing, stitching, whatever that creativity skill is, it's your creativity. You can create whatever you want, however you want, with whatever material you choose to create with. So if you don't like that style of creativity, don't buy it. Don't touch it. Don't go into the gallery to check it out. You can criticize and say, well, I don't like that, or I don't understand it. But don't go to the artist and say that you should do this that way. Especially a stranger that's walking into your gallery off the street that you don't have a relationship with, and you start criticizing the way they are creating their art. So all I'm saying is this is going to happen. It is going to happen because people right now in our culture are very, very judgmental. And they call it the mob court, or they call it the social media court. You are going to get judged by going in front of the camera and saying, or recording audio like a podcast and saying what you want to say and talking about the things that you want to talk about or the things that you relate to with the people that you care about and with the people that you think they're going to support your material or your topics or your mindset or your belief system. Now, of course, we encourage contradiction. Of course, we support different opinions, as long as it's not being done with hysteria, with tension, and bitterness. You don't have to be better by being bitter, or you don't have to be bitter to be better. You can be better. And I teach my team that every single day. You can be better, but being kind. Just be kind. And I'm not sure if any of you guys watched or listened to the episode with my dear, dear friend and my amazing team member, Giselle, when her little boy got bullied and harassed in school. We talked about just be kind to people. So if you want to be better, just be kind to anybody and everybody. Don't judge. Be free of judgment and be colorblind. When I say colorblind, it has nothing to do with skin. Colorblind meaning that your aura and your energy and your frequency is my frequency always orange. Orange is my favorite color because it's a color of healing. If somebody comes at you and they're all red, or somebody comes at you and they're all sunshine and yellow, right? It doesn't matter of the color of the aura they emit when they are talking to you. Be colorblind. Colorblind meaning that personality blind. it just accept people the way they are. Be tolerant, be inclusive, be flexible, be kind. And that's what we are trying to do on this platform. Now, is this going to be the first or the last criticism or whatever, bitterness that I'm going to get? Of course not. Of course. I'm ready for it because guess what? I am going to learn from it and be ready and be better every time this happens to us or even to you. And that's why I'm putting this out there for all of you guys, that I am an example of a podcast host. I'm not a celebrity. I've never been in front of the camera. I'm not an actress. I am not a publicist. I'm not an influencer on social media. I am just Slava the Jordanian, a dentist, an entrepreneur, a business owner that wanted to come out on the social media platforms in order to share my story. Hopefully, I can inspire somebody out there. That's it. That's it. And tell my story. That's all I wanted to do. So let's continue. Remember, not everyone is your audience. Aha. That is a very important point. And I agree with that. Not everybody is your audience. I rather have a very small community that is constantly watching us, constantly listening to our podcast, supporting us, sharing with us, offering opinions, offering ideas, than be global, than be worldwide, than be, I have like millions and millions of people are listening to me and they are following me. I don't care about that. Honestly, I really don't care about that. So, because not everybody is not going to like me. Not everybody is going to love what I say. Not everybody is going to relate to my guests. We are in our little world of people, whether we've known each other for a year or known each other for 20 plus years. We are coming together, creating this community, creating this space to tell our story, how we got together. And from there, break down and explain what it took for us to get together and stay together and create and maintain this relationship. It's all about human relationships. How is it somebody like me that was born and raised in Saudi Arabia to a Palestinian father and a Jordanian mother, got displaced, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, United States, escaped 3 marriages, 1988, landed in the US at age 19, married an Egyptian, went to NYU dental school, right? Landed an associateship, landed a partnership, got kicked out of my partnership, and that's another story. Created my own brand, ended up owning 3 offices, now owns a franchise group. Now I have my own consulting group, and I'm working on 3 other projects, international. How is that even possible? At the same time, I have intimate friendships and relationships with local people that I have known for over 20 years. I've known these people when they were single, and then they got married. Then they have their kids. Now their kids are in college, about to get married. How is that even possible? How is that even possible with somebody with a different mindset, different belief system, settling down in this small town in New England and having those amazing people supporting me, and I'm supporting them through every single stage of their lives and my life? How's that even possible? How does that work? How does that work? And also at the same time, people are amongst their own family dynamics cannot stand each other. Do you know what I'm saying? So why does that happen? That's our curiosity. Bringing all these people together in my life, find out what is it that we have in common and how also we are so different, but yet we are still together in a relationship, a healthy relationship that lasted all these years. So not everybody is your audience. I agree with that 100%. This is the key. Your podcast is not for everyone. Absolutely. And I don't want it to be for everyone. Not because I am intentionally making it exclusive. No, we include everybody, right? But I don't want it just because you know me to agree with me. And as a result, my podcast is for you. That's not how it works. I want it to grow organically. I wanted people to reach to the conclusion that this is for me because either it was enlightening and I discovered a lot of things that I did not know anything about in the past, opened my eyes to certain realities, made me recognize that what happened in history is repeating itself, made me realize that what I used to know is not the case anymore. The discovery of knowledge, the discovery of self-awareness, the discovery of why things are happening around me, the discovery of how can I process the world around me and how and why things are happening and why people act this way and why people say certain things and why people make certain decisions that way. That's one of the purposes of this podcast. So especially if your work touches on identity, which we do, immigrant experience, which we do, personal growth, absolutely, belief system, I say it all the time, leadership, cultural nuances. Everything that I read about the reason why you should not listen to somebody that criticizes you. Number one, they don't know you. Number two, they did not say it in your face. They said it behind your back. Just random. And who knows, could be that messenger made it up. I don't know. All I know that when I asked the question, why, they gave me the reason why. And they asked me, don't show the message. I'm just, I didn't like what they said. That's why I'm sharing it with you. Whether you think that there is a value in this that you want to change or not, because I care, I'm sharing this with you. Right? So I don't know if this was a fabrication of that messenger about the way we're doing things, because that messenger maybe, I don't know. I really, really, really don't know. So the people who feel uncomfortable with those conversations, often they will critique them. And that's reference to identity, immigrant experience, personal growth, belief system, leadership, and culture nuances. So maybe that messenger felt so uncomfortable with the topics that we have discussed or touched upon, fabricated this whole thing that there's somebody out there criticized us, and I don't know what you want to do with that. Maybe that messenger thought that I would just dig a hole, hide in that hole, and just stop everything and just stop it. and end it and quit. But they don't know that quitting is not an option. Doubt is not an option, right? And not continuing to serve humanity the way we are hoping to serve humanity is the only option and the only way, because we are sponsored by humanity and supported by everyday people's storytelling. And I will stand by that till the end. That doesn't make you wrong. It means you are speaking to a specific tribe. That's very interesting. Guess what? Everybody that reached out to us in 2026, interested in coming on as guests, are within the pool of topics we have discussed in season 1. See what happens? So in season 1, when you are planting the seed, or we planted the seed, it actually attracted more people to talk about these topics again, supporting the purpose of this podcast as a self-improvement in the self-improvement category, right? Which is identity, immigrant experience, personal growth, belief system, leadership, and culture nuances. So see how it works? When I said quitting is not an option, stopping is not an option, doubt is not an option, right? It's because if you're planting a seed, you have to nurture that seed and keep feeding it, keep watering it so it can grow. Season 2, I did not have to go and reach out as much as season 1 to people. It's like, you want to be on a podcast? I think you're going to be great on the podcast. Why is that? Tell me more. I'll talk to them and reach out. People came to us season 2. And we have scheduled pretty much for season 2, every single episode. Pretty much. I am full. This is March. I am completely committed to recording all the way through May. So it's not, it's how you react, because I did not send that energy out that, oh my God, I'm so scared. This needs to stop. I can't be criticized. I got triggered. Of course, there was a ball of emotions that I had to deal with and work out and name and feel to heal it. Absolutely. But is it going to make me quit? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Now, if for example, our audience shrinks down from, it's more quality than quantity, I welcome that, because I always loved quality over quantity. I'd rather have a community that continues to support us and advocate for us than a community that watches us once and drop us, watches us twice and drop us. And we go through a laundry of audience. I hope that makes sense. But that's my advice. I agree with that 100%. Okay. So the people who feel uncomfortable with those conversations often critique them. That doesn't make you wrong. It means you are speaking to a specific tribe. Drop the ones that don't relate to you and support and nurture the ones that do relate to you. That's your community right there. Protect your first year. I just said that, 2025. A 1-year-old podcast is still in its formative stage. The first year represents courage, consistency, discipline, identity building. And that's exactly what we did. So we took everybody from the season 1 and re-invited them to return to the show. So we're building relationships. Some of them were interested. Some of them maybe, but nobody said no. So they're coming back And we had newcomers that reach out to us. We did not seek them, that reach out to us. And that means that we did something right season 1 for them to really say, aha, I like this. I want to be part of it. And they are coming on. So we kept it small. The circle of guests, we brought them back to season 2. And all of a sudden, newcomers reached out to us. They wanted to be part of that community. Don't let one voice overshadow 12 months of effort. Absolutely not. It is a lot of work. It is discipline. It is dedication. It is consistency. But it is a lot of fun. So don't get discouraged. You have to put the work and the effort into it. And it has to show in your episodes. And it has to show in your content. And it has to show in your format. Whether you're you're going to end up being the kind of podcast host that just really casual, talking about as if you are having a cup of coffee with somebody, or to be, or you are the type of host that is very, very structured. That's your style. If I don't like it, I'm not going to watch it. If I don't like it, I'm not going to listen to it. Somebody else is going to listen to it. Somebody else is going to watch it. Who cares? Who cares? So don't let one voice overshadow 12 months of effort. Look at the listeners who message you, the guests who trust you, the growth in your thinking, the clarity in your voice. That's your real data. Okay, so the listeners who message you or make a comment and say, hey, so-and-so, I liked what you said. I wish that you guys can talk about this and that. The guests who trust you. I just said that. The guests that came in season 1 or created us in season 1 are coming back, and they agreed to come back. That is huge. The growth in your thinking. I've learned so much from my guests. I learned amazing things from my guests. One of the ones that Haytham al-Khuraishi, he's like the flag expert who travels around the world. I don't know if you guys have listened to his episode yet. I'm not sure if it's uploaded. I think second episode or third episode. We did an episode about flags, and I learned so much. I was like, my brain was exploding for all the data and the information he gave us. And I love how he explains it. He puts it in a layman term, really, real simple. And he just innately brilliant and about history. It's unbelievable, you know. And I love having him over because I feel like I'm talking to my little brother about flags and history. And I am a student of history, and I love history, and that's how I learn how to process the world around me, by reflecting on history. Right? It's all about context. So the guests who trust you and end up coming back, the growth in your thinking, which we talked about, the clarity in your voice, that's your real data. Lastly, ask yourself one grounding question. If this criticism came from someone I deeply respect in this field, would I take it seriously? If the answer is no, then it's noise. Okay? So if this criticism came from someone I deeply respect in this field, would I take it seriously? So this person, the messenger, told me what happened, but this person is not deeply respected in this field. It's not disrespected person, but it's just somebody that has nothing to do with podcasts. I have no idea how this happened. And then this social media podcast coach or celebrity or whatever you can call them made that comment about our podcast. But they're nobody. To me, in my world and in my community, they are nobody. Because think about when somebody out there criticizes you, the way you live your life, the way you do your work, your profession, how you raise your children, your relationships. These people, this person that criticizes whatever you're doing in your life, the first thing you need to remember, or the first thing you need to ask yourself, who are you? Who are you in relationship to my life? They're nobody, not nobody in value. Don't misunderstand me. Not nobody in value. Nobody in value as far as your life is concerned. So if that's the case, why would it matter? Say, thank you very much. You are entitled of your opinion. I will consider it, maybe or maybe not. And you just walk away and then forget about it. And that's what this is telling you as a guide. A powerful mindset shift, public criticism is a milestone. Absolutely, 100%. People don't criticize invisible work. It means you are visible, you are relevant, you are provoking thought, you are growing, and growth always creates friction. So, my last point, I'm going to end with this, is the fact that that person told the messenger this and this and this and that, we must have triggered something in them from the podcast. We must have hit a chord that resonated in them about the podcast. So instead of them saying, I don't agree with you, they said that this podcast is no good because you don't look at the camera, you look somewhere else, you're not addressing the audience, you're reading. What the heck that's supposed to mean? Who cares? Who cares? This time and age, you are worried that I'm not stiff facing a camera and I'm not just saying things or memorizing things? Who cares? Focus on, so something must have resonated with that person and they chose the style of communication and the way to deliver their message by criticizing us. Right? So, when you get criticism, think about, is this person valuable in your life? You can take that criticism and redress it and reproduce it into something that is a learning lesson, a milestone. Just like when, I don't know if you guys remember, when you are in the playground, when you were young in the playground, and you have this kid who wants to be your friend, right? But instead of reaching out to you and saying, hey, you want to play? They trip you, they push you, they bully you because they don't know how to reach out to you because they're not confident how to reach out to you and ask you, hey, do you want to be my friend? But the only way they know to get your attention is to hurt you or to trip you or to bully you or to say something mean to you or to be bitter. Remember, you don't have to be bitter to be better, right? But that kid probably does not know a very healthy way to reach out and get your attention. But attention is better than no attention, regardless of the kind of attention you're going to give them. Whether you're going to end up fighting with them, you're going to end up not liking them so much. I don't like to use the word hate. Hate is a mean word. So whether you're going to end up not liking them so much and then becoming your friend later, because if you have watched Giselle's episode when you talked about Rudy, her son, when he got bullied, guess what? That kid that bullied him, now they are best friends. Right? I rest my case. So that kid thought of Rudy being so cool that he bullied him to get his attention. Now they're best friends. And we talked about it in the episode. How's that even possible? No, they're fine. So that was the kid's way of saying that, hey, I like you. I want to be friends with you because you're so cool, but did not know how to send that message. Or the only way they knew how to send that message, he knew how to say that message or send that message, is by bullying. He must have learned it somewhere from somebody, and he thought that, yeah, I can use it with everybody else's, that I want to be friends. Now they're friends. So who knows? That person that criticizes our podcast might end up being a guest after all on our podcast or our show, and might end up being my friend. Unfortunately, we have reached the end of our hour. Thank you so much for listening and watching. And as a reminder, these episodes are uploaded weekly on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. So please, if you enjoyed this, subscribe. It's free. Like, share, and hit the notification bell. That way you won't miss any episodes. And if you have any topics or any content you would like us to revisit, please leave your comments in the description below. I hope to see you next time. This is Slava the Jordanian.